This is Katie. We're going to tell you about how we traded city life for country living. The Panera and the Starbucks for the Jacks.
So many restrictions in Florida. I tried to buy a weapon in Florida right when we got the Donald Trump money. I went in to the Rural King and I wanted to buy a weapon. I told the guy, hey, I've never had a weapon before. I want to buy a weapon for self-defense because, the world's changing. You know what the guy told me? You don't know anything about weapons. He was, power tripping. You don't know anything about weapons. I'm not going to sell you a weapon. I'm like, dude, your job is to sell weapons. That's what you're here for. I'm not going to sell it to you because you don't know anything about weapons. I want you to take a course in weapons before you buy the weapon. I'm like, the state of Florida doesn't require that. You're an employee here getting paid $10 an hour, and you're trying to require it. But the law doesn't require that. So I tried buying a weapon in Florida, and I couldn't do it. I can burn my garbage here. I had $100 worth of garbage. That's landfill price. That's not what a company would charge you. That's what the landfill would charge you to get rid of it. I had 2 trailer fulls of landscaping debris. I set a match to it, lit it on fire, and now it's gone. And that's $100 I didn't have to spend. I can burn my garbage. I can shoot my guns. I can do whatever I want on my property. My neighbors have tractors, trailers. If you want to have 100 vehicles on your front lawn, you have 100 vehicles on your front lawn. You can just do whatever you want. You can hunt on your own property as long as your neighbors are okay with it. My neighbors, the first thing they told me was when I moved in, before I brought my furniture in the house, my neighbors told me, hey, if you want to shoot anything around here, it's cool. They'll clean it for me. Like they told me, hey, Sadie boy, I know you don't know how to do this. So if you go hunting and you don't know how to prepare the animal, just cut me in a little bit of the meat, I was walking down the road and a female pulled up. Now I'm out in the woods. Now I was just going for a little exercise. You guys need a ride. And I asked her, you're a female by yourself. Why would you give 2 guys a ride? She pulled out one of these. Okay? And she says, I ain't worried about you. I got me one of these. So here in Alabama, men and women are packing. People are friendlier. People here aren't going to disrespect you or flick you off in traffic. You know why somebody's not going to flick you off in traffic here? For every 1,000 people, there's 33 registered weapons. And that's registered. So you're not going to flick somebody off in traffic like you do. You'll see up in Florida, there's people from New York and from all those states up there, and they flick you off in traffic. You know why you're not going to flick somebody off in traffic in Alabama? Because they have one of these. You're not going to get flicked off in traffic in Alabama. You're not going to pick on a female because she's got one of these. You're not going to break into somebody's house. My neighborhood is an arsenal. This neighborhood here is an arsenal of weapons. I bet you for every person, there's 20 weapons in this neighborhood. And I don't mean these little 22 toys. I'm talking real weapons. That contributes to people being friendlier. It contributes to people being more respectful. It's part of the culture. It's part of the lifestyle here to be friendly. But you're not going to find people flicking people off in traffic here because you flicked the wrong redneck off in traffic. So early in the morning, people are shooting their guns. It's a normal thing here on the weekend. On the weekend, you might hear 20 or 30 different guns going off. For now, we just have starter weapons, a 22 and a self-defense shotgun. And I don't want to have too many weapons because, for now they're expensive. There were tensions at first, but here's the thing: if I pulled up a convertible in the driveway and went out with my golf clubs every day, then definitely I can see how those people would have never talked to me. But when they saw that I drive pickup trucks, that I shoot guns, that I play country music, it kind of all leveled out. So at first, when we first moved into the neighborhoods, I'm not going to lie, at first there were some hostility, some uneasy tensions. Back in Florida, we would spend $70 or $80 a day on food if we were out and about. It's impossible to spend that on food here. You could try to spend money, and if trying to order lobsters and stuff, you won't spend more than $40 on food here in Alabama. Food here is that much more affordable. So even though you make less money here, I feel less worried about money here than I did back in Florida, because even though you make less money, you also spend a lot less money. Food's more affordable, housing is more affordable. Some of our utilities are more expensive because now we have satellite internet. They don't have regular internet here, so we have a satellite internet. We have a hotspot now, so that's a little bit more expensive. Although the internet that I had in Florida wasn't affordable either, so it's actually $20 less now, and those $20 less on your utilities and stuff like that, that really makes a difference, because again, this isn't a place where you're gonna make tremendous income and have tremendous overhead. Here, your overheads are flat. I was surprised though, even though our property taxes are less here, that your waste management and garbage pickup wasn't part of our property taxes. So I noticed they weren't picking up our garbage, and I called to see, hey, what's going on? And it turns out that your waste management is not connected to your property taxes like back in Florida. So we're gonna pay $200 a year or so to have garbage collection. I am on Google listings now, and people are looking at my Google listing. We just haven't had any calls yet. It may take some time for business to pick up for me. Overall, I'm happier. I'm not worried about money as much. I'm happier. It seems like now, we in the city, we were living pretty much on edge all the time. Here, our house needed a kitchen remodel. That was into the maybe $6,000 to finish the kitchen back in Florida. Our kitchen's not brand new, it's not granite or anything, but it's functional. So that's $6,000 I don't have to come up with anymore. Go. Ooh, yeah, okay then.
That's enough for me.
Our septic tank in Florida, septic tanks can be up to $20,000. Our septic tank in Florida was given out, and that's about a $13,000 to $20,000 expense. We didn't have $13,000 to $20,000 to fix a septic. For the last 3 years, we've been dealing with a septic tank that didn't function. We're up on a hill now. We're up on a mountain, and it's sand here. So our septic system works like incredible. I mean, you're on a mountain, and it's sandy and extremely well drained. So our septic tank, even though it's about 10 years old, it's barely been used. They haven't really used it as much. People here have 20, 30-year-old septic systems on mobile homes, and they've never flushed them out once because it's so efficient and effective because of the drainage of the soil here that you don't need to. We got our septic tank pumped out, and now we don't have to worry about septic for 10, 20 years. They're not affordable. So there's a $6,000 in kitchen, $20,000 in septic. That's $30,000 less that I have to come up with. And again, we sold our property in Florida, and we had like $30,000, like $30,000 left over. So we bought our house, we put a roof on it, we bought a $12,000 SUV, so that's $12,000 less. And actually in Florida, I would have had to finance it, so that $12,000 SUV would have been a $20,000 SUV. So I feel like I grabbed $60,000 worth of debt that didn't exist yet. Debt that I was gonna have to get into. I grabbed $60,000 of pending debt that I had over my head, and I just tossed it out the window. Now I don't have to worry about a $20,000 septic system. I don't have to worry about our vehicles for many years. I don't have to worry about a kitchen remodel. Our kitchen's not perfect, but it's functional. It's not leaking. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, yeah, we could redo the floors. We got a nice couch. I mean, we had money to fix up our lives. In Florida, I try to buy, another thing that I really love about Alabama is the lack of restrictions here. It's one of the most liberal gun states. Like, I went to the store last night, and I bought this. Now, in Florida, if you're buying this in Florida, you can't just walk into a store and walk out with it. Okay, in Florida, they have a hold. I think you have to wait like 3 or 4 days. I walked into the store, and I walked out with this and ammunition for it. So I was able to buy the weapon and if I wanted to buy this last night, I walked into the store and I bought it. I bought this with ammunition, and I walked out the store the same day. At 8:30 at night, I walked out of a Bass Pro Shop with my weapon in hand. The closest Publix is 5 miles away. It's an 18-minute drive.
Life in the city was hectic. You always had to have your Starbucks and Publix. Don't get me wrong, we got Publix here, but it's a little further away.
What's the other thing we did in Florida? Starbucks?
Mm-hmm.
Starbucks. The closest Starbucks is a 5-mile drive at 17 minutes. So in Naples, we were, 10, 12 minutes from Starbucks? Actually 15 with traffic, to be honest. So even though the Starbucks is closer to us, so if I really want a Starbucks, it's a 17-minute drive. There it is, Starbucks, 17 minutes. Publix said 18 minutes. If I want a gas station, I mean, we are in the woods, and I can shoot we are, for a 1-mile radius around me, there's nothing, there's probably 40 houses within a 1-mile radius of me. But once you get outside that 1-mile radius, you're in the suburbs.
You had everything concentrated. Too much, to where there was too many cars, too many people. You couldn't enjoy your front or your backyard.
I'm 9 minutes to a McDonald's. We're close to everything we need. I mean, but within a 1-mile radius, there's only about 40 houses. So we're out in the woods, but we're right outside of a suburb that has everything we need. Overall, I'm happy. The house that we bought here for $80,000 out the door with expenses that it needed. This house back in Florida would be $300,000 to $400,000. In our area where we were, on a small lot, a small house is going for $350,000. So actually, if we grab this property and took it back to where we were in Florida, this would be a $400,000 or $500,000 property. So you have over 100,000 people in Lehigh Acres, Florida. Everybody's on well water and septic tanks. I'm up on a hill in the country in Alabama, and I have city water. Lehigh Acres, with over 100,000 people, everybody is on well water. You need a water filtration system and a water pump. You're talking $5,000 or $6,000 to get these systems set up, and they don't last forever. This is called 1186. This water is from Ottaguaville, which is just outside of Prattville. So all the water that we drink now is locally sourced. And it's probably no different than my tap water. So the water quality is good out here. Overall, I can say that the utilities are good. The infrastructure of the place is better. The roads are paved here. When you compare this to Lehigh Acres, they don't even have paved roads in Lehigh. They're just now starting to pave the roads in Lehigh Acres. Now, the city limit stops there, and they stopped paving the road right there. So, like, the first 400 yards, it's paved. It's just not in the best condition. But once you get into city limits, everything in Alabama is paved. At the beginning of the month, there's a lot more economical activity and partying and stuff going on as people get those benefits. And then towards the end of the month, everything kind of slows down until the money comes in again. Because I think honesty is lacking in today's society. And I do appreciate, I know this might not sound nice to everybody, but I do appreciate how people here are vocal about what they believe, whether it's right or wrong. Because too many people today are passively aggressive. In other words, they don't like you, but then they don't tell you they don't like you. They're two-faced about it. Here in Alabama, if somebody doesn't like you for who you are, they're gonna tell you straight up, hey, I don't like you. So I do appreciate that, because it feels like in Florida, and I know the same sentiment exists in Florida, and I do talk to people on a personal level, and I feel that the sentiments are exactly the same, but in the city, they hide that. And here, they just tell you. So I don't think there's more of it here. I just think people are more vocal about it, and I don't see why that's a problem. If anything, at least it opens your mind to the way people really think, because I do feel that back in the city is exactly the same situation as far as people not getting along. How often, if you went to Walmart 5 times in Florida, how many times would you get picked on?
4.
Explain what type of things they would do to you and the things they would say to you, how you were being harassed in Florida by people.
They harassed me because of my weight. They'd say, hey, fatty, like all this nasty stuff. And it was cruel.
So if you went to Walmart 5 times in Florida, in Naples, Florida, out of 5 trips to Walmart, how many of those trips would you get picked on?
4.
Okay, what was the usual perpetrator? What were they like? Was it a male? Was it a female? Were they in groups? Explain how.
It was usually males in groups. One of them would hit on me, and then they'd troll me for the rest of the time.
So they follow you around harassing you. So you dealt with this in Florida on a constant basis. People picking on you because of your weight.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, have you had that here in Alabama?
Never.
So how would you say people are in Alabama as far as humanitarianism and respecting other people versus back in Florida?
It is so much better, hands down. If you go to the store, you're going to be able to carry out your business without a problem.
Okay. We're just trying to find the right jobs so that whatever we do is something we enjoy. Thank you guys so much for liking the video if you've done it, and thank you guys so much for subscribing. And check out Katie's cooking vlog with a V, just like my channel, if you want to see what we're cooking at home here in the countryside. I was thinking about catching some squirrels and making some squirrel meat or something like that. Let me know as soon as it's hunting season here as well. I might look into that. But in the meantime, yes or no, should we try eating squirrels? Thank you guys so much.